Hello and a very warm welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy, where your dreams are our mission. This is Yatharth here, and today we are going to discuss about a very important thing, that is money supply in the economy. So we'll understand this through a prelims question that came this year, and we'll see what we can discuss for the next year, what we can take care of, and what are the topics we should know for next year. Alright, so let's begin with the question. So the question asks or talks about the post-pandemic, recent past. That means it is talking around the year 2021-22 as the COVID came in 2020. Okay, many central banks worldwide, so it's talking about the global economy, had carried out interest rate hikes. Okay, there's something known as interest rate. So this we should know about. We'll see what is it. And it's saying that it was hiked. That means this was raised. All right. The second statement is that central banks generally assume that they have the ability to counteract the rising consumer prices. What is another word for rising consumer prices? Inflation. Via the monetary policy means. So it's talking about monetary policy or tools of monetary policy. So let's see this question further, what we can learn from this. And I'll be dealing with very basic things here, because that is our sole aim of doing this series, that learning from the very basics. So this question is from economy. The subtopic is, let's say, bank interest rate monetary policy or tools of monetary policy or tools of money supply. What is money? The Indian money, let's say rupees. So what is this? It's a token of exchange, that I give you one thing, you give me another. It's a legit token for the barter system, let's say. I hope you all know about the money and barter systems, but I'll just explain it here in very simple. So the earliest exchange forms were barters, where one would give, let's say this A person would give something to the B, and B person gave something to the A. All right, some object, let's say. But this had two problems, that both of them must require these objects only. All right, and both of them must be ready to sell and buy. So these were the two problems here, a double demand problem. Okay, so this was exchanged with money. That means A could give the B something in exchange of some money, and this money could be spent anywhere else with the person C, let's say, to buy something else. Okay, this money has an intrinsic value promised by somebody else. Let's say this is state. Okay, state releases money through RBI, let's say, or a central bank. Then there are other banks, and there are consumer or customers. Many type of customers are there. Some are the producers, some are the purchasers. And producers are also purchasers at some point, and these are also producers at some point. Okay, so this is all a very simple mechanism. Okay, this is how things go on in our country or any country in the world. So we'll be talking about these things here, the money supply in the market, the injection of this money in the market. That how does the central bank or other bank control this injection, and why so? Why do they need to inject or eject the money from the market? What happens if there is too much money? Okay. What happens if there is too less of the money in the market? So we'll be talking about this. Okay, let's first understand the question from here. So statement says, in the post-pandemic means after the pandemic is over. That means, let's say economy was going like this. In the pandemic it went like this. In the post-pandemic it came like this. And now it's, let's say, being here. Okay, so it's talking about this phase. It's not talking about phase this. first of all. Many central banks worldwide, that means it's saying that globally the effect of pandemic was same in all countries, has carried out interest rate hike. So there's something known as interest rate we must know about. We'll see this. And central banks, it's talking about not the commercial banks. It's talking about, let's say, RBI, Federal Reserve. Okay, generally assume. So it's saying that not 100% certain, but they generally assume so, which is the same thing. Okay, it's just making it a soft statement, nothing else. That they have the ability to counteract the rising consumer prices via monetary policy means. Okay, so after the pandemic, let's say economy was recovering again, and when we think about this, so people had money in their banks, unused money, because they couldn't buy anything after the pandemic. Now let's say there is an object A. Now person X is ready to pay 100 rupees for this. Person Y is ready to have this product as 200 rupees also. Okay, so the price of this product, the company will know this, and the competition will increase, competitive prices will increase, and the price will also rise. It will become 150 rupees, okay, or 160 rupees, because people are ready to buy this at this price. This is eventually known as inflation. When people have money, people are ready to buy, and the prices keep on rising. The reverse of this is deflation, where regardless of the prices, people are not ready to buy due to various reasons, let's say due to the pandemic. So the economy moves between these two bars. This bar is known as inflation. This bar is known as deflation or recession. Okay, so money keeps on like this. It is the form and function of RBI, the role of RBI, to keep it very stable like this. While it's not always possible, RBI tries to do this through various policy means. Okay, the main policy that RBI has is monetary policy. The government can also do this via a fiscal policy. So we'll see that also. What is that? Okay, let's move further from here. So what we understood till now is about the monetary policy and fiscal policy. So they are two different tools that have an impact on the economic activity of a country. So monetary policy are formed and managed by the central bank. So it's solely a decision of the RBI. The mandate is, however, by the government. Okay, the government mandates the RBI to keep the economy or whatever very stable as per some acts, certain acts. But RBI takes all the decision then onwards. So of a country, and such a policy is concerned with the management of money supply and interest rates in an economy. So why are we talking about interest rates? So we'll see this. Let me erase all this. Okay. Another thing is fiscal policy. So it's related to the way a government, that means we are not talking about the RBI here. The government is managing the aspects of spending and taxation. Taxation means, spending means where the government spends, and taxation means where the government earns from. Receipts. Alright, revenue receipts. Okay. So let's say if government wants to have more money, it will increase the taxation. If government wants to pull out money from people, it will just increase the taxation. Say give us more money. And if let's say government wants to have less money and wants to give people more money, it will just DBT, inform various schemes, decrease the toll, decrease the tax. There are many things. So this is all financial or fiscal policy. On the other hand, RBI does not have a function in this. RBI do not take and cannot take all these decisions. So RBI just take decisions through the banks, which lend and borrow money from people. We all go to banks and banks go to RBI. Okay, so let's see how this works. So government can modify the fiscal policy by bringing in measures and changes in tax, etc. So this is all about the fiscal policy. We'll see a little more differences in here as well. So monetary policy acts as a macroeconomic policy, which is under the control of the central bank, that is RBI here. And in other countries, their own individual certain central banks. So a central bank controls money input in the economy, impacting interest rates. The interest rate is directly related to gaining different macroscopic goals. So RBI has what goal? RBI has goal to keep economy stable between these two extremes. Okay, so this is the goal of RBI, and RBI wants to do this only. So these goals include inflation, consumption, as well as growth and liquidity. And monetary policy plays a vital role in maintaining economic growth. So this is the thing about monetary policy. All right. Money supply in the economy and rate of interest change are two critical parameters that affect monetary policy. So these are the two critical parameters. Different policy tools that affect the economy are discount rate, reserve requirement, open market operations. We'll see about them in context to India further on. Okay, so let's not take any headache about this. Let's move forward. So monetary policy stimulates people and firms to invest in various economic activities. So either it would create a money supply in the market, either it will increase the money supply in the market, or it will decrease the money supply in the market based on how market is operating. Okay, how things are going on in the market, RBI will take some decisions in every next meeting or whatever frequency it has set. Okay. So the main risk here is monetary policy becomes too loose. Too loose means there is a lot of supply in the short supply of money in the market. It can inversely increase the money supply and inordinately impacts inflation. That means it will increase inflation. It functions on flow of money in the economy and credit control. If we closely observe, monetary policy is highly complex. So let's not go into the complex things. It's just asking about the simple fundamental basics, and we'll view these only. Fiscal economy, let's just take 1-2 points. So Keynes gave the concept of fiscal policy. Please remember this very important economist, John Maynard Keynes, JMK. Okay, he was around 1940s, 1930s. He gave the concept of fiscal economy. He stated that government is responsible for maintaining the business circle and regulating the economic product. So this we'll not be talking about a lot, the fiscal policy. The question we are tackling is about the monetary policy. However, I have given you the basics. Okay, further on we'll only be talking about the monetary policy. Okay, but let's just take a wide, let's say, stance on this. So in fiscal policy, government revenue collection and expenditure are used to affect the country's economic condition. Policy include the aggregate supply of economic consumption or employment. So two crucial policies tools that affect fiscal policy are taxes and public spending. That means basically and very simply what the government is spending versus what the government is earning. All right. So this is about the fiscal policy. But the main tool is monetary policy. So let's see how that works. Just a second. Okay. So the credit for a great impact on economy goes to the tax and spending policies. This we have already seen. Two important type of fiscal policies: expansionary and contractionary. All right. So basically, expansion and contraction. Sankuchan evam phelav. So it's same as the monetary policy goals. Nothing different here. Let's see the major differences, however. So we'll not delve deep into the definitions. We've already covered them. Okay. So monetary policy, financial tool, central banks. Please just remember these two things. RBI and what else? Interest rates. Okay, this is government, taxation, etc. Managed by Central Bank of Economy, RBI, Ministry of Finance of GOI. Okay, measures are capital expenditure and revenue receipts, etc. Here, interest rates. Focus area is stability of an economy. Here, the focus area is growth of an economy. Both things are very different. Okay, while RBI's primary goal is also growth, but that's government's headache. RBI's goal more or less is stability. RBI would like if the country keeps on growing, but to maintain a stability is primary function of RBI. This is the major difference between both policies. Okay, impact on exchange rates. So exchange rate improve when there is a higher interest rate. We'll see this. It has no impact on the exchange rates as it doesn't deal directly with the money supply. That is RBI's job. The bank of banks. Okay, targets is monetary policy targets inflation in an economy, and fiscal policy does not have any specific target, just simple growth. Okay, every budget session they release, they will increase tax on something, decrease tax on something. Some people will be happy this year, some people will be happy next year. Okay, this is all, let's say, politics. Just a second. Okay. So let's see what are the tools of monetary policy. So monetary policy operates through various tools. Some are bank rates. This is what the question is about. One is open market operations, which deal with the securities, GSECs. The cash reserve ratio, CRR. We'll see about these also, everything. SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. LAF, liquidity adjustment facility, which operates through repo and reverse repo. All right. And MSF, that is marginal standing facility. So questions have come from all of these, and questions keep on coming from all of these. Just a second. Okay. So we'll be seeing about all. Just let's take the basic introduction so that we can proceed towards the question now. So bank rates is the minimum rate at which the central bank of a country provides a loan to the commercial bank of the country. This is very important. Also known as discount rate, because the central bank provides finance to commercial banks by rediscounting bills. Not important. RBI uses bank rate to control credit in the economy. This is important. OMO, that means open market operations, mean the purchase and sale of securities by the RBI directly, not through the banks. Okay. CRR, banks in India are required to keep certain proportion, this is cash reserve ratio, of their deposit in form of cash with themselves. Okay, not with the RBI. Please remember, themselves. Okay, if the legal CRR is 10%, then the bank will have to keep 100 rupees as reserves against the deposit of 1000 rupees. Some people are against this because it does not lend any interest to the bank to keep this, but it's very important, especially after the 1911 crisis, the Great Depression crisis. Okay, people can come back anytime to the banks and say, give us all our money, give us all our money. The bank must have some of this money at least to give to these people. And the bank assumes that at a given point of time, mostly 10% of people will just come back for the money. Okay. All right. So this is CRR, OMO and bank rates. One is liquidity adjustment facility. So LAF allows for bank to park their excess money with the RBI in case of excess liquidity. That means bank have much deposit, let's say. So banks would like to earn interest on this. So they will just give it to the RBI. RBI will provide them some interest. Or to avail liquidity from the RBI, let's say they don't have much money, they want money. Any certain bank wants some cash. So they will ask the RBI that lend us some cash immediately for short term. Okay, this is known as reverse repo at the time of deficit overnight basis, that means for 1 day. These are short term. Okay, please remember that these are short term. So LAF are conducted into repos and reverse repo type. So repos or repurchase agreement is an instrument which allows bank to borrow money from the RBI to manage short term needs of liquidity against the selling of government securities, with an agreement to repurchase the same government securities at a predetermined date and rate. The rate at which the RBI lends to the bank is known as the repo rate. Repo rate. Reverse repo is an instrument which allows the RBI to borrow from the banks by lending government securities. So this all LAF is managed through government securities, GSECs. All right. So rate at which bank lends to the RBI is known as reverse repo rate. Repo injects, this is the most important thing, that repo injects money into the system. System is what? Bank system. Bank and people system. Okay, people want to take money. Banks don't have this money. Bank will take this money from the RBI at repo rate, but will give this money to people further on a higher interest rate than the repo rate. So banks will be happy. Okay, sending this money out. So it will inject the money into the system, and repo rate, reverse repo rate takes money out of the system. All right. Okay. That's when that happens, let's say this is the bank. So many people are coming here. They don't want their money. So they will just deposit it into the bank. Bank will let's say offer an interest rate on this money. Now bank will say that we don't want this money. So it will just give it to the RBI. RBI will also further give an interest rate on this deposit. So that is known as reverse repo. Okay, so we'll see all this.